Hey guys, Jim Ritter here, Managing Partner and Director of Acquisitions for Apollo Realty Investments. As you know, we're San Diego's #1 distressed home buyer and go-to investor for all your fixer listings. Today we're sitting down with Bobby Martins with Keller Williams Realty out of Carmel Valley. They're the #1 real estate office in San Diego. I sat down with Bobby about 4 months ago. I was extremely impressed with everything he has going on. Wanted him to come on and share all the little tidbits, everything that is making him successful. So put down all of your distractions. You don't want to miss this episode. Hey guys, we're joined today with Bobby Martins, Keller Williams, Carmel Valley, #1 real estate company in San Diego County, right? As far as the office goes.
Yeah, the brand is now #1 in San Diego, and that office is #1 in the county out of any real estate office for units sold on the buyer side and on the listing side.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sitting down with us today. This is going to be awesome. We sat down about 4 months ago. I was just really impressed about everything you've got going on. Wanted to have you come in and just share a little bit about what you're doing, share the tidbits of what you've got going on, your team. Maybe go a little bit into a little bit more detail about who you are and how you got started in real estate.
Well, I've been doing this since 2002. I started off with Remax, and I was working for Peter Middleton. He was basically my mentor, and still real good friends with him today. Worked with him for about 3 years, and then I broke off and started my own team. And my wife actually joined me on that team, and she helped build it up. And so now we've got 5 agents total, two full-time people, full-time marketing, and a operations manager. And so we do, last year we did about 30 million. In my career we've done roughly about 500 plus homes.
Yeah.
And so we've had a good run at it. Love the business. It's definitely the perfect business for me.
So you said you have a team of about 4 or 5 agents that are working with you. Mm-hmm. We're really big about, working on what you're good at, getting a team going. Maybe it's a transaction coordinator. Maybe tell us a little bit more, go into a little more detail about the team you have and what they do for you.
Well, so my operations manager, basically she handles the transactions. So anything from the listing management side of it, inputting in the MLS, all those types of things, she takes care of that. And then once it goes into escrow, she takes care of all the paperwork. And basically we meet every single day and we go through each transaction. And so basically I'm still involved, but she does most of the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And then you've got buyer's agents that are working for you, going and doing the leads for you.
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, that's one of the things that's nice about the team is we can generate a lot of leads with the listings that we have, and I can leverage myself by handing out those leads to individuals on the team. And so what we've been doing as far as converting them is I either will do the conversion and then bring them into the office and meet with them in person, and then I'll work with the buyer's agent. We'll split time on with the client, and but then I take care of the negotiations. Once we find a property, I do all of the negotiations and put it into escrow.
Awesome. Another thing we usually like to talk about is, you've been in the business for 14 years now, and you're doing really well. Maybe wasn't the case when you got into it 14 years ago. Maybe take us back to a time when maybe it was your first year.
Well, thankfully I started off really good.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Please explain.
I didn't have that. Well, it was 2002, actually 9/11 just happened. So when I first got my license, it was a little slow, but then it started to pick up, and as interest rates went down, then it was just absolutely gangbusters.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to get in at a good time. There was lots of leads, so there was lots of practice and conversion, but I was really good at open houses. Did a lot of open houses the first probably 2-3 years of my career, and then so I was able to pick up a lot of clients that way, and then just kind of kept, I think my first year, I think we did like 14 or 15 sales, and then second year we did like 24 sales. So I mean, we picked up, picked it up pretty quick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe go into a little bit. I mean, we're really big on education. Learning. We just want here at Apollo, we're always looking to just learn as much as we can. Maybe tell us some books. Maybe it's DVDs you're watching about real estate.
Well, for me, what I did getting into the business, I made sure that I learned everything I could. It's one thing to take the test, but then when you actually get into the mechanics of what you do every day, it's not what's in the tests. Mm-hmm. And so I really focused in on going to a lot of designation classes. So I've got pretty much every major designation you can have. And I also got my broker's license. So I think for any new agent getting into the business, the ABR, the CRS, the GRI, those are the three really good ones that you can go after. And they do take some time, but if you want to make money in this business and you're in it for the long haul, you have to really put that time aside to learn.
Yeah.
As far as a book, I would anybody coming into the business, Millionaire Real Estate Agent book.
Yeah, everyone's
that is
talking
by
about
far. That. I mean, I read that years ago, and and another book that, from a customer service perspective, is Raving Fans. It's a very quick read. I mean, you could probably read it in half an hour to 45 minutes, but it really hammers home the fact that people will go out of their way to use your services if it's something special. So what is your unique selling proposition is basically the idea behind the book. And so it kind of covers all these different businesses that people would come from miles around to go to their business, which that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And in a business like us, where we have 20,000 plus agents in San Diego, you have to set yourself apart.
Yeah.
And so our main niche that we kind of focused in on is move up and move down buyers. So that's the name of my website, Move Up San Diego.
Right? Yeah.
And so we really focus in on those types of buyers because they're more difficult transactions. And if you're buying and selling at the exact same time, you better make sure you have an agent who can do the job the right way and put you in a powerful negotiation position on both sides of the transaction. Because we all know it's difficult to get a homeowner to accept a contingent offer on the sale of a property, things of that nature. So one of the things that we always like to do in that situation is we just do a rent back. So we'll do a 30 to 45 day escrow, and then we'll rent back for 60 days. So it gives us 90 to 105 days to find a property for that person either moving up or moving down. So usually plenty of time. So
awesome. You're a fit guy and you got a family. Tell us about your daily routine, because you got it. I mean, I know you've got it. It's if it's working out in the morning or the evening. I know with all of our the agents that are on our email list,
it's
so hard. I mean, it's a vitamin, just a magic pill.
Yeah. You can eat whatever you want. No, I have a pretty rigorous routine. Monday through Friday, I wake up pretty much about 5:15. I'm at the gym about 5:45. I'm there until about 7. Go home. I've got about an hour and a half of family time. Get to the office about 8:30, 8:35. Luckily, I'm 2 minutes away from my office, so highly recommend being close to work. That's a smart thing. And I'm usually there till about 1. Take a little lunch break, and then in the afternoon, out on appointments is kind of my daily routine. But I do hit the gym 5 to 6 days a week. I eat very good, and get lots of rest during the week.
I know for me, I've got a wife and 8-year-old daughter. I struggle sometimes with balancing the work, the business life with the personal life. It's good you live close to home, so you get maybe leave the office at 5 and get home by 5:10, 5:15. But is
5:03.
5:03. There you go. So maybe you can go into more detail about how you balance that exactly, because I know a lot of the agents that we deal with, they struggle with that too. You've got to work hard to be successful. So I know you work hard. So how are you?
One of the things that I do, I'm a very good social networker. So real estate is relationships, and so over the years, my wife and I have done a great job of surrounding ourselves with awesome friends and lots of couples and families. And so a lot of the people that we actually work for are our friends, and so which is great because nothing is more fun than helping somebody that's a really good friend, and then you close, and then now you're going over to that house to hang out with your friends at the house that you helped them with. It's the best feeling on the planet. It really is. So that's one of so basically, as far as balancing, I mean, I'm on a Sunday, I'm hanging out at a barbecue that to some extent is work, where I'm, meeting new people and so we do balance very, very well. My wife and I are always pinching ourselves with the amount of stuff that we're able to cram into a week, but I do, we get it all in. I mean, I've got a poker group. She's got a bunco group. We're very involved with the kids' schools, and I do the Indian Princesses and adventure guides with my son and daughter, and so it's and she's den leader of my son's Cub Scouts, and so it's fun. It's not easy, but you wake up early and you go to bed late.
A lot of to-do lists.
Yeah, exactly.
So Bobby, let's go into a little bit more about where you started out. 2002, you did 12 deals in that first year. Now, obviously doing more than that. You've got 5 people on your team. Walk us through a little bit, where you started out and how you got to where you are today.
Well, the first 3 years I was part of a team, and I was like a sponge. I really, watched what was going on. How do you generate leads? I mean, that's the name of the game. If you're not generating leads, then it doesn't matter how good of an agent you are, then you're not going to be successful. But if you generate the leads and then you focus on how do I convert that lead and turn that person into a trusted client, and that's really, for me, the game changer moment was when I realized that this is a business filled with a lot of untrustworthy people. And so I really wanted to be that person, and genuinely deep inside, the person I am is that person. That's who I am. I'm very fair, I'm honest. I've always I always want to help people. That's ever since I was a little kid. And so for me, this is I'm just doing what I love to do. And so I just treat everybody like the way they should be treated. And the key is referrals. If you're not really focusing in on delivering the best possible service, then you're not going to last in the business. Because it's going to get harder and harder and harder to get those deals. And so it's really a fantastic business right now. I have people calling me all the time. So it's a lot of incoming leads. And it's based 14 years of just doing the right thing. And so all of my past clients, it just, you hit this momentum. And so each year I try to bring on different things and try to grow in different areas. So I think that's another important thing. If you're weak in certain areas, that's gonna hurt you. And so I keep my mind right. I keep myself happy. That's a big part of this business. Don't take things personal. But as far as just keep on shifting each year and adding to your business. But lead generation, and then also understanding how to convert clients. The speech is very powerful, and if you don't say that right thing at that right moment, that is designed to help your client, to make them understand, then you're not going to make a lot of sales. And so,
and that's where I wanted to go into a little bit. Also, some of the secret sauce when you're at that listing appointment. What do you suggest to agents? Because they may be competing against 5 or 6 other agents at a listing appointment.
I think the biggest thing is be authentic and really know the market that you're looking at and understanding the comparables, because you can walk in and if you know the comparables better than someone else and you have a good marketing plan, then that could be the difference right there. Because people want somebody who understands their area. And my marketing plan works in any zip code. But if I don't understand that particular neighborhood, and I don't understand that the house right down the street,
60s builds versus the 80s builds.
The house down the street sold for $50,000 less because it's got the telephone poles and got all the other stuff there. If I don't know that and convey that during the appointment, then the owner's going to know that, hey, this guy doesn't really know my neighborhood. And people want someone who. Every single time I always talk to people, and I want you to make sure, I want you to understand my neighborhood. So one of the tips I would give people is make sure you pre-qualify. Find out exactly what the seller is looking for in an agent, and make sure that your presentation is going to cover those points. Otherwise, you're not going to get the listing.
We touched on it before. You're with Keller Williams, Carmel Valley, #1 real estate office in San Diego. You've got a lot of other brokerages out there for an agent to choose from. Maybe an agent is looking to make a move. What do you suggest? So obviously Keller Williams, #1 real estate company in San Diego. Do you suggest an agent go with that type of company, or maybe a smaller brokerage where they might get more face-to-face or more hands-on time and education from a broker?
Well, I came from another large brand. I was with RE/MAX for 10 years, and I saw a great opportunity with Keller Williams as they started to grow. In fact, I was going to switch over back in 2006, but I waited a few years until the brand got a little bit better. And and now it's the number one brand in San Diego, and it's the number one brand actually in the North America as well. So what I love most about our office is that there are so many quality agents, and the difference between our brand and, let's say, not to single out any of the other brands, there's profit sharing with Keller Williams. And so 50% of the profits in the office gets split between the agents, and then 50% stays with the owners. Now, that makes everyone in the office want to help each other out, and so everyone is sharing. I could sit down with a top producing agent, and we'll open it all up. What are you doing? What are you doing? And we'll learn from each other, and ultimately that's going to help the consumer, because we're all going to get better, and so that to me is just the big difference between any of the other brokerages. Not to mention, we also have a cap system, so I pay a certain amount of commission and then it stops. And so it usually takes me about 2 months or so to pay that, and then I'm 10 months free of all commissions. So that's pretty cool. But that particular office is just bar none, in my opinion, the best in San Diego. We actually are adding in a new feature right now that I'm pretty excited about. We're gonna have full printing capabilities in our office. So we're getting a brand new printer that is like an actual professional printer with a cutter and the whole thing. So
Stapling and just
everything. I mean, like literally,
back.
I don't have to go outside to get any marketing done. All of it's in-house, and we have a full-time marketing person that is designed there to take care of all of that for us. So if I need printer, or if I need
anyone who's looking for
if I need flyers that like
you
within
go to
30
your
minutes,
office.
it's done. And so and that's one of what we've set up at the office is basically one-stop shop for everything. We have an in-house lender, in-house escrow. So when our clients are working with us, I mean, they come and everything is right there. So that's kind of cool. There's a lot of other things, but to me, and the people that I'm around, like the team leader of the office is amazing. He runs a team out of Arizona that currently sells about 120, 130 houses a year, and he's not even there. He's here in San Diego running our office, and in fact, the owner of our office has a team that he runs $2.5 million in commissions last year, and he runs it out of Austin. And
naturally,
also the guy's a little busy. He runs the entire company of Keller Williams, so that's who's running our office as well.
Yes, you're in good hands.
we're in great hands. So I mean, so the people around us, the systems in place, everything is just seamless, and and that's what you need in a brokerage. You don't need somebody in your way, and there's classes and training. I mean, when I hire on a new agent, I just look at the calendar of events, and there's 10 or 15 classes a month that I can choose from that are good classes that they can learn from, and then we train, sit down and talk about what they learned afterwards. So it's really, from a training standpoint, newer agents, it's by far the best. And then I think there is a gap where you hit that point where maybe it's not the best fit, but then when you're a team again and you have a bunch of agents underneath you, then it is. So it's but it's a challenge. This business is not easy, and you gotta keep
work hard, be the right team. Good things usually come.
Exactly.
So Bobby, obviously we've talked about all the success you've had, but maybe let's go back to a time where you had a challenge you really had to overcome.
Well, I think all of us in 2008 remember the market collapse, and then overnight, you couldn't get a loan, but you still had a lot of sellers out there wanting to sell. And so by far that transition from 07 to 08, we were coming off of our best year in 07. It was just unbelievable. And then all of a sudden 08 came, and it was our business got cut in half overnight. And so that was a huge challenge. And so what I did to shift is I immediately started going after foreclosures, and so I was able to get some foreclosure accounts, and so I got some of those listings, and then that started to dry up a little bit, because the banks were wanting to do more short sales, and so during that transition I learned short sales as well, and so I did those for a few years. And so people are talking a little bit right now about a shift coming. I think in San Diego we still have a little ways to go, but a shift will come. It won't be as dramatic as before, but when it does come, you have to be ready. You have to make sure that you are that your balance sheets are you're leading with revenue. You're not sitting there looking for that shiny nickel, which a lot of agents do. A lot of agents will spend $20,000 on a website before they've even had a single sale, and it's like, you can't do that. You got to really
real estate coach first.
You need the coach. They'll keep your budget in check, and during this next shift, you have to be ready, and there's not going to be as many foreclosures as there were, and I think there's going to be it's going to be a very different market when this market shifts. There's going to be a lot less sales, and so really it's the agents who have discipline in their budget are really going to be the ones who are going to be able to ride it out. So put as much money away and make sure you're saving it up.
Yeah. So maybe go into a little bit about some of your lead generation tools, the top things you're doing to get those leads. I know we talked earlier about referrals. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a few other things you're doing.
Well, for me, referrals are by far the biggest concentration on my business.
Yeah.
When you get a referral, the likelihood of you converting that person goes up 10 times. Mm-hmm. And so I really focus in on that. And so some of the things that we do is a quarterly newsletter that goes out to our database, monthly email newsletter that goes out every single month. And we put a lot of thought into it. It's a lot of important information that people want to, it's not just a bunch of fluff. And then we also call the database. We try and reach out to them every quarter or so. Just a quick call, ask them if they have any real estate needs. For me, it's kind of like I was about to curse, but shooting the shit.
It's like showtime.
We have a little fun. Just call it. It's very informal, and most of my clients, they become friends, mm-hmm. so it's very laid back type of.
And that's another thing I wanted to ask you. Maybe that's. Well, I'll ask it as a question, but what keeps you motivated? Maybe it's that.
Yeah.
A lot of your clients turn into friends.
What keeps me motivated is definitely my family.
Yeah.
I've got 2 kids, great wife, awesome family. So every day I thank my stars for that, and so those are really what drives me is that, and so, but yeah.
All right. So next question I wanted to ask you was goals for 2016. We're in March now, mm-hmm. So the first quarter. What are your goals for the last 3
Well, right now we've got 20 pendings and solds, and we're shooting for 80 or 80 sales this year as a team, and so we're hoping that we can make that. Other things that I'm trying to really step out of my shell as a mentor, mm-hmm. and really put a lot of effort into building the team. So that's one. For me, that's my main concentration right now, is just really going above and beyond, not just with my clients, but with my team, making it a great place to work and learn.
Awesome. So as we talked about, you're at the Keller Williams Carmel Valley office, biggest office, real estate office in San Diego. You're rubbing shoulders with other brokers there that are just doing a ton of business like yourself. Again, we always try to get back to that secret sauce. What are you guys doing? What are some of the other guys doing?
Well, there's not any one thing that any one of us are doing that is just like, oh my God, we're getting so many leads from this particular one thing. You have to be very diverse. Some agents will have a full-time person dedicated to just cold calling all day long. So they're calling around their listings, they're calling expireds, for sale by owners. So that's something that's very important. Geographic farming is coming back in a huge way too. So a lot of our agents in our office do a lot of that, and so finding that farm that produces enough sales, and becoming that guy in that area is really important. And then some people don't want to hear this, but door knocking is huge too.
I'm a big proponent of door knocking.
Door knocking is gigantic. I don't do it. It's just something that I just haven't worked into my schedule, but I see the value in it. I see agents in our office all the time getting listings from it, because people don't want to answer their phone. Mail is tough because there's so much mail coming in, and so how do you get out there and meet people? Knocking on their doors.
I'm talking to a lot of agents. We bought, I think, something like 100 homes last year, a little bit under 100. So I'm talking
That's
to a
all?
lot of agents. Talking to a lot
Slacker.
of agents out there, and I'm always trying to give them ideas how to get more listings, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, intrinsically, that might be more business for
Definitely,
me.
yeah.
And for a lot of the new agents that maybe don't have the referrals, I always tell them, go and door knock.
Yeah.
That's how you build your business, and that'll be a referral when they go and buy or sell a house 3 or 4 years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like you mentioned, a lot of times these sellers or buyers don't want to answer their phones, or they don't respond to the mailers. And a lot of times, if the house is in foreclosure, they're getting 20 mailers a day. So sometimes it's that agent that just goes there, knocks on the door, has a great conversation with them, and convinces them, yeah, it's time to sell for one reason or the other. So, I mean, the average agent in San Diego, obviously selling homes in the $300,000 to $700,000 range. I was talking to you earlier. You recently sold a triplex in the mid-$1 million range, $550 or so, and then you sold a $5 million piece of property. So that's very diverse.
Yeah.
Book of real estate business. You go into
Well,
that.
one of the things that I pride myself on is I don't care about the price points. So if someone's looking at a $300,000 or $400,000 house, I'm just as happy to help them as a $3 or $4 million property. But I do. It is interesting some days where I'm looking at something that's a low price point and then a huge price point like a $5.5 million beachfront property. And so, breaking into that market is definitely not easy. The way I got that deal was the triplex. I did a deal for this customer, and she loved the service and that moment in her life that that she's been waiting for her whole life to buy a big dream property. And so she called me and said, "Hey, I'm ready to do this." And we started looking at properties and then found a great one that was 6.2, and then we got them all the way down to 5.5, and it was a beautiful beachfront home up in Encinitas, and now she's doing vacation rentals, and she's actually making money. Where we thought she was going to lose a little bit of money, but she had the benefit of being able to stay there, but she's actually making money off of the deal now.
Yeah.
And that's because interest rates are so low, and so the payment's pretty low for her. So
that's awesome.
But I think it's important to take care of people in all price points, but the way that to get that is just deliver great service, and then just it'll come.
Yeah.
So
before we leave here, any last parting piece of advice for everyone tuning in?
I would say if pretty much anybody needs a real estate coach. So if you don't have a real estate coach,
we hear that a lot.
I would buy that almost before the computer.
Okay.
Because you really need to have that guidance, especially for someone newer in the business. I mean, if you can instantly have somebody at your fingertips that has 20 years of experience and hundreds of transactions underneath their belt, for $1,000 a month, I mean, come on, you're going to make more money as a result. So, but people generally don't want a boss, and that's what having a coach is. It's kind of like having a boss.
Yeah.
And so people don't want a boss, and so they don't hire a coach.
Yeah.
But every year that I've had a coach, I've done more business.
Yeah.
So, and I've had coaches most of my career.
Awesome. Bobby, thanks again for sitting down with us. Much
Thank you.
appreciated.